Welcome to the Wizards of Ecom, your no-fluff playbook for online success. Each episode is fully packed with actionable tactics you can implement in your business right now. Take your life to a higher level and excel in your online success. It's time to work on you and your business. Let's do this.
Hi Wizard, and welcome back to the Wizards of Ecom podcast. This is your host Noemi, and this is the second part of my Failure is Success, Fail Fast, Fail Forward episode. If you have not listened to the previous episode, make sure to do so. Feel free to pause this episode and go back to episode number 149, then continue listening to this one. I'm going to continue the Failure is Success, Fail Fast, and Fail Forward with the sixth failure here, and the sixth failure was bringing on the second product in the same niche does not mean doubling your sales. So as a newbie, you might probably hear a lot of ideas how you should niche down and should find products that are in the similar niche and similar category. This is also what we did. We started with one product, and the second product we brought on, it was very similar to the first one. It was a bit differentiated, meaning the first product had a glossy finish. The second product was a matte finish. Now, there was no product like this one, the second one, on the market, and it was honestly a risky bet. However, I think that just because of that, it's a good edge for you to try out sometimes risky things as well. I'm not saying that you should always go for the risky one, but try to learn risk management. But getting back to the failure, why this was a failure is simply because we didn't approximate it that the moment that we are going to bring on a product that we are already, or bring on a product that is very similar to what we are already selling, we are going to cut on sales, cut sales on the second product, meaning that let's say if we sold 1,000 units of product 1 and product 2 came on the market, the first product, it got less sales. So this is also for you good to keep in mind. Probably when you're going to start out, you would think, yes, if product 1 was successful and second product also was successful and they are almost in the same niche and I can use the same keywords to be done and like have them in a family or in a niche of products, then it would be a good idea. Yes, it is a good idea. However, please keep in mind, if your product is similar to what you already sell, or if it's a variation of what you already sell, expect your sales to go down for the older product. Seventh failure was not prioritizing building up an outside traffic or an existing email list. So here, what I would like to add, yes, we also invested time in outside traffic, but we invested time in outside traffic before starting the first product. And what I noticed, if you are yet again new into the Amazon world, what you will do, either you're going to hire out all the things or all the processes besides strategy, and either what else you can do is you're going to learn these things step by step, how to do your listings, pictures, PPC, and so on. So you are going to become a master of your own store. We went with the second route, and I learned a ton during these 2 years. I learned a lot about what it takes to sell on Amazon, what it takes to really have a good strategy when it comes to PPC. However, what I noticed is that I invested a lot of time in learning things that I didn't know about, and what I ended up with, because I was a one-man show, or yes, my husband also helped out, but not as much. So what I realized there is that I try to overcompensate all my weaknesses or learning things that I wasn't aware about, but I neglected the most important things, my strengths, which was community building and reaching out to influencers and building up really a strong list and coming up with making sure that I'm also going to nurture my email list. So this is something that I learned the hard way. Yet again, if you're going to start out, just be sure that you're not going to neglect this part either. As a solution there, as a tip, I would say either have someone who is, like for example, for us, our forte was social media, and all the strengths that I put into social media, I would have rather hired out to someone. What happened here, I didn't hire out to anyone, and I ended up learning new skills. So they're like a caution for you. If you already are good at something, yes, make sure that you are going to continue with what you're good at, and as many tasks as possible to hire out. Yet again, I understand if you're coming from the same mindset as I came, that either it's cheaper this way, either it's better this way, either it's like I want things done the way that I want to do things, right? I understand that mindset as well. That's also where I'm coming from, and now looking backwards, connecting dots, I realized that would have made more sense to hire a few things out that I didn't. So yes, that's my tip there. And why this was a failure, like a noteworthy failure, is like I jotted down here. There's a 20 to 60% ACoS rising overall, all the categories during this year only, 2021. And if you're building a brand, make sure you either have a strong PPC game, so you cover your keywords to keep your CPC as low as possible. Either start PPC from day on. Either what you can do, or what you should do besides that as well, buying the domain name for your brand and making sure that you're building a website, even if it's not, even if it's a starter website and it's only your brand and logo and so on. And still make sure that you are going to keep an eye on outside traffic. So there's my tip from me. There you go, I cannot talk today. There's my tip for you from me today is make sure that you understand what it takes, how much money it takes, first off, to have a proper PPC campaign and proper PPC strategy. And also do not neglect the outside traffic there, because if you don't have both, or are not good on both of these sides, you might lose opportunity, and with that opportunity you might also lose sales. My 8th failure here, that it's actually going hand in hand with the previous one, is lowering ACoS to the cost of sales. Now, if you are a new seller, as I was as well, I was trying to attend all the PPC meetings, at least the ones that we have in the group, and not only those ones, but I tried to understand and to learn as much as possible PPC. PPC was my weakness. I didn't know anything about how PPC works, so I made sure that I'm learning a lot about how PPC works. And here, what I noticed is that most of the time what I heard is like lowering your ACoS. So what I try to do, even weekly, sometimes even every second or third day, I just went into our advertising campaigns and just checked out which keywords are at the lowest cost, and I try to minimize the bids on them. Now, obviously, this is what you will hear 90% of the time. I would say even 99% of the time, lowering your ACoS. But when you're a beginner, you don't really understand what means lowering your ACoS. So most of the time, what I noticed, yes, I lowered my ACoS, but either I lowered too much, or either I lowered on the keywords that I shouldn't. So there you go. I lost a lot of sales, and we lost a lot of sales because of that. So now I'm chuckling yet again, because like I'm thinking back how stupid that is, but in true honestly, this is how most people are going to start, especially if you're going to do your own PPC and are stubborn, as I was very stubborn. I learned a really nice skill. I am now able to optimize PPC and optimize ACoS, there you go, and understand PPC better. But I learned on, or I I made mistakes on our own campaigns. So this is something that I would like you to avoid whenever you hear the word lowering ACoS. Please understand that you should know which are the keywords that are bringing you most of the sales, and try to not touch those first, because those are the ones that are actually bringing you the most of the sales. So if there's like bleeding keywords, which are the ones that get high number of clicks and a high impression and still no conversion, I would suggest to look into those ones first, rather than cutting an ACoS that it might be higher than you would love to, or your break-even cost is, yet it brings in a lot of sales. Remember, whenever you're starting out and whenever you're launching a campaign, or as a matter of fact, whenever you're launching a product, probably you're not the only one in that niche, and it's going to be a higher cost of ACoS until the algorithm recognizes you and identifies your product being relevant to that specific keyword. So that's my advice there. The 9th failure here is something that I personally seen, especially beginner sellers making this, is accumulating too much knowledge and acting on too many aspects of the business at the same time. So yet again, if you were listening to our previous episode with Michael Pinkowski, Michael is a really cool guy who brought to us the concept of strengths-based leadership. And it was about knowing your strengths and making sure that you're going to use your strengths rather than your weaknesses in order to achieve things. So here, one of my strengths, or my first strength, I'm a learner. And a learner, the most common things for a learner is that they're very, very excited about the process of learning. A blind spot there is that also, just because we're so excited about learning, we don't necessarily want to apply all those things that we're learning. So there's a lot of things going on whenever you decide to sell on Amazon, and in truth, you don't know what you don't know, and this is why you should learn a lot of things. However, what I noticed is if you're learning too many things at the same time, first off, you might end up confused. Second, you won't be focusing on the exact things that you want to do, which is increasing sales and learning one skill really well, and then moving to the second one and third one and implementing all those skills. Something that I notice here when you're going to start out, and you're probably going to learn a ton, because more that you learn, more you realize how little you know. Start to focus or take 2-3 goals, but don't have more than 2-3 goals at first, because, for example, it could be, okay, either if you're doing your own listing, either be, okay, I want to understand how to write my listing, how to or a bit about how to write the listing, how to choose the best pictures, and how to, I don't know, understand a bit PPC, so everything goes hand in hand. Your PPC is set, your PPC campaigns are set for the specific keywords that are also going to show up in your listing, and that's it. Learn that how to do, and then the next step, okay, you're going to learn about something else. And I see, like on my end, this would have been way more beneficial. So this is why I'm saying, yes, it was a failure, but it's also a great learning opportunity for you, my dear listener who's listening right now, to understand that you should prioritize the things that are most important and work on those ones first, and then just move on and step by step add to the arsenal of knowledge. What is something that has the highest ROI, that will bring value to your business? That's also super important, because most of the time, because you don't know how many things you have to learn about, it's like, okay, learn one thing and then learn the second thing and learn the third thing, but those should be the most important things that are going to bring you the highest ROI. If PPC is not your passion, as actually it became mine, hire it out. If creating a listing is not your passion, hire it out. If making pictures and having the best images for your product, it's not your passion and you don't know how to do it, rather hire it out. That would be the best ROI actually for you and for your time. And also here, a tip for you would be to set a new plan of action for every quarter. Why I'm saying that is because you're at the beginning and you will learn a lot during this maybe year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. I still consider myself a beginner, however, even if I learned a lot already, so I'm still a beginner at many things, yet I'm advanced at the things that I was a beginner like 2 years ago. Setting a plan of action every quarter, I've seen that's something beneficial for me, because then I can also check back to see, okay, I gave myself enough time to not struggle, yet not be too comfortable. Here my tip was like having a plan of action every quarter. If it depends when you're going to start. If you are a bit more advanced than I was, not knowing anything about Amazon, then you might have that for every month, have a new plan, or every a goal, or every second month, or so on. But the idea I want to bring here is like knowing exactly that, hey, I have all these things set like properly, like written down, properly set, and then I can be accountable of the new things that I learned during that quarter, let's say, and then how did that help my business grow. Alright, and the 10th and last one of the failure list is having a short-sighted view. Now, here must confess, having a too small and too focused goal versus working backward from where do you want to be within the next, and here put it 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, would have been way more beneficial for me rather than reacting. Now, I see that most of the time whenever you're going to start something and you don't know exactly what you're doing, and you also don't have guidance or step-by-step process on how to do things, what you're going to do, you're going to react. A customer just wrote back and they said that they don't like the product, and what I did, I'm just writing them, and just like that's something that I'm like, okay, how to write, how to formulate things, how to whatever. Maybe I'm a bit OCD, so I want to do things right. Make sure that you are not in the reacting mindset, but you plan ahead and understand, okay, I start, let's say I'm starting with this product, I want it to bring $10,000 per month. I want to have a company that it's bringing me, if it's bringing $10,000 per month, it should be like $1,200 by the end of the year. In the scenario that is not growing at all. So to become a successful business owner whose business is making $1,200 per year, what should I look like? How should I look like? What are the help? What is the help? What are the professionals that I should like reach out to? Who is my PPC guy? Who is my listing guy? Who is my, or whatever I want to do? But working backwards from the goal that you want to achieve. Where do I want to be the next year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years? I wanted to bring you my failures because like life is happening and you have to make the best of what is given. Keeping in mind that I had a short-sighted view is I didn't know what I don't know, and also whenever you're going to start this business, it's going to be depending on how much you are going to do versus how much is going to be delegated. It's going to be stressful, so just keep that in mind. Okay, having an action plan, knowing exactly where you want to be, what you want to do, it's great. It will save you a lot of headaches and also will help you to not be reactive. Some of the things that you planned ahead, it won't happen. But I see this on my side, it would have helped actually tremendously, knowing exactly, okay, that's the next goal for the next year, that's the next goal for 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead. Aim high and then see how to make that into like an actionable plan. Making sure that you have something that it's clearly written down. This month I'm going to work on influencers. Next month I'm going to work on how to set up my email sequence properly. So it's going to be a plan for each month ahead rather than reacting all the time to what's happening. Yes, as I was saying, It would have been super helpful for me to know all these things. Yet again, if you have not had a business before or you haven't sold on Amazon before, all these things or everything what you're learning about now, it's new. And it takes time to become good or to master a craft. And this is also a craft. Selling on Amazon is a craft as well. Understanding, adapting, especially adapting, it's a mastery here, because one day just Amazon says, okay, we are not allowing you to search, find, buy. We are not allowing you to do this, that, whatever. And then you have to be very, very creative how to still find a way to make sales, yet being TOS compliant. These were my thoughts. I'm going to repeat them once again. The sixth failure was bringing on the second product in the same niche. Didn't mean doubling the sales. Seventh failure was not prioritizing, building up outside traffic and an email list. The eighth one was lowering ACoS, the cost of sales. The ninth failure was accumulating too much knowledge and acting on too many aspects of the business in the same time. And the 10th was a short-sighted view. My dear listener, I truly honestly hope that this helped you. As I was saying, it's not the coolest thing to brag about your failures or to brag about how uneducated you were when you first started out. The last tip and the biggest tip here would be, don't be afraid to ask questions, and when you're asking questions, try to formulate them in such a way that you get the answer that you are looking for. As always, it's a pleasure to talk to you. To really be bold and just take one step at a time, understand how things work, then you understand which risks are good risks, which risks are bad risks. And as I was saying, these are failures that will help you to fail fast and fail forward and learn during this journey to become really the best at your craft. Much, much, much love to you. See you next Wednesday. Until then, take care.
It was fun sharing this episode with you. If you found value in what you've heard, please show your love with a subscribe, rate, and review of the show. Until next time.